Chapter 8, Time Management. Time management is the ability to spend your time in a productive manner. Despite all the hours in a day, if your time is not used well, it will always feel like not enough. How good are you at organizing your time so you get the important things done properly? When you start to do something, do you focus on all your attention on it and get it finished? If any of these things you struggle with, it's time to start working on your time management skills. Learning to prioritize. Prioritizing means doing important work before doing less important work. It doesn't mean that what needs to be done is unimportant. It means that something undesirable could happen if the more important things don't get done first. Here's a simple example. If you don't stop to get milk on Monday afternoon, you can't have milk on your cereal Tuesday morning. Buying milk on Monday was prioritized so that milk is available for breakfast Tuesday morning. As you build the discipline to finish your responsibilities on time, you will find there's more time left over for other things like hobbies with friends and family. Developing a routine. A routine is a pattern you follow to achieve a goal. Routines are things you do every day or on a regular basis. For instance, every morning when you wake up, you get dressed, you eat breakfast, you brush your teeth, and you go to school. That's your morning weekday routine. You may have a Saturday routine that involves chores around the house and playtime, while your Sunday routine may involve going to church and having dinner with relatives. Routines are nice because they incorporate habits that help you get things done. However, they shouldn't be so rigid that there's no room to fit in other important things. Occasionally, you may need to have a dental appointment, so arrangements might be made for you to leave school 30 minutes before classes are dismissed to get your appointment on time. Another routine may be doing your homework right after dinner. The nice thing about this is that time is set aside to get your homework done and still leave free time for you afterward. Routines utilize time management and priorities so that goals are accomplished, making life a little easier and less stressful. Reward yourself for sticking to your routines. Creating a routine and staying with it is not easy, hence the need to reward yourself for a job well done. For example, if your goal is to finish your assignments every day just before your parents get home, reward yourself with some free time outside afterwards. Chapter 9, Financial Awareness. If the goal is to build wealth for the future, real meaning having a lot of money when you grow up and to live well as an adult, learning about money is a skill you should know about now. As a child, my fascination with money began when I developed an obsession with music. I loved Yanni and the Backstreet Boys, but I really didn't care what music I got. I just wanted to own a huge collection. I asked my parents for money whenever my allowance ran out, and my dad always asked me what I'd do to earn it because, as he put it, he wasn't a bank. My mind was blown. All along, I thought my dad was rich. I knew enough from seeing my friends' houses to know we didn't have a pool in our house for a reason. But having him acknowledge the limit of his resources was a rude awakening that really made me think. I thought about all the money I'd seen my parents spend, and I imagined what it would be like if my dad had saved every penny he ever made. Then I added in every penny my mom ever made. We sure would have been rich then. That calculation and the urge to devise ways to earn my own money propelled me into the world of financial literacy, which means understanding money in plain English. A lot of people, especially on the internet, have ideas and opinions about what kids should be allowed to see or do. When the topic of financial literacy, understanding money, comes up, people say things like, "Why burden him with this now?" or "Let her be a child before she grows up." But this ignores the fact that it's a disservice to young people not to teach them what they need to know about money from an early age. Even though I started educating myself about money early, and my mom and dad were the teachers who helped me learn how to save, as well as the concept of saving and earning compound interest, there are still a lot of things I wish I'd known before I started saving and investing. Let's talk about the ways you can earn money and spend it wisely. We will also talk about how your money can get away from you. Sometimes the need to satisfy an impulse might make you do things that are not acceptable or safe just to earn money, and that's not right. Earning money. It's never too early to start earning money and practicing good money habits. Remember, the more you practice something, the better you'll get. Starting small now will help you build strong money skills later. But how to build money? Well, it could be as easy as letting people in your neighborhood know you'll cut the grass or weed the vegetable garden. Yeah, like Dylan's landscaping and tree service. You can offer to take your child to a nearby park. Perhaps the lady down the road needs someone to feed her cat and water her plants when she goes to visit her granddaughter. Ask a trusted adult and neighbors you already know for help coming up with money-making ideas. More than likely, they can help you find suitable work. Dylan, I used to do lemonade stands. Awesome. But I was a real entrepreneur. I added in cookies and brownies, and I decked out my little table with balloons.
Awesome.
And I stationed myself on the busiest corner in San Marino.
No, actually, speaking of that, this year I actually wanted to do a lemonade stand for summer.
Well, I think you were going to do your ice cream idea, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll figure it out.
But, really, I'm going to start making money by selling my newspaper, my magazines, and I also make money by being the mayor and police chief of Wellsville.
Yeah. You're very, very industrious. Okay, here are some great ways to make money. Oh, and also people would hire you for lawn cutting because you're good at that. Here are some great ways to make money I took advantage of when I was a student. These may or may not apply to you in your neighborhood, or they might need revamping before they can be profitable for you. Oh, one thing don't ever do, just don't be a bartender.
Yeah.
It's not a great environment. You end up being a therapist. Do chores for your parents and neighbors, dog walking, running errands for neighbors, tutor classmates on difficult topics, care for pets when their owners go on vacation. Oh, and then we also had the idea of inventions. Remember, you were going to patent a couple ideas?
Yep.
The one with the vest?
Hot pots.
Hot pot, yeah, okay. Yeah. Don't give all away the ideas.
It can be in my new magazine.
Yeah, we'll put it in your magazine. Saving money. The next step on this journey is saving money. Knowing how to make money without knowing how to hold on to the money you have defeats the whole purpose of earning it in the first place.
Did you have the air on?
It kicked in.
Oh.
What's the point then if you only have it long enough to spend it all the way up and end up right where you started? Here are a couple of tips you need to acquire to make and keep your money. Exercise restraint. This is important. Of course, you can spend some of the money you earn, just don't let it burn a hole in your pocket. You'll not only have a sore leg, but your money will be gone, and you'll have to throw your pants away too. When spending, do so wisely, keeping a portion of your earnings for another time and always putting some in your savings account.
Right when you said spending, I was writing spending.
Yeah. So, the one thing I want to say though is budgets. You gotta learn how to be on a budget. That's the reality of life. And it is a balance, because you don't want to be so strict that you don't enjoy what they call the fruits of your labor, which means you enjoy a little bit of what you work hard for, but some people over enjoy, and that's where they get into trouble. Okay. When spending, do so wisely. Okay. always putting some in your savings account. You'll never be sorry you did. This is called delayed gratification. It means you want something, but you're willing to wait for a time when you can better afford it without breaking the bank. Budget. Oh, here it is, budget. Budget wisely. Always have a plan for your money. If you don't have a plan, your money will definitely find a way to get away from you. Decide what's important to you when it comes to money and make a plan to ensure you save for what you really want or need. Be disciplined. Learning how to do something consistently, even when no one's watching, is an excellent example of self-discipline. Make your financial decisions and stick to them, even when you really want that new gizmo all your friends have. It's like building muscle. You get better at it the longer you practice. Spend wisely. Spending without forethought is a bad habit. There are certain things one should know before spending money on anything. The steps discussed below will help you to learn to spend money wisely, and ask your parents for advice. Growing up, I always wondered why we bought generic cornflakes at the grocery store instead of Kellogg's, or why did we buy from another store 20 minutes away instead of from the mall that was a 10-minute walk down our street. When my parents explained that sometimes it made sense to drive farther to get a better price on household goods, that was a big budget lesson I didn't know I needed. Use discount stores or coupons. Making a purchase and getting a good price is a great feeling. The first time I bought something from the sales rack at Target and I saved money, I was thrilled, and I craved that feeling again. I always found ways to save on the things I wanted. This is a great quality to have when you're learning how to make money and keep it. And you know what? Honestly, most people who overspend, when you go back and ask them, well, what did you spend all your money on? You know, honestly, their answer, what do you think it is?
Candy. Junk.
No, it's junk, because they can't even remember what they spent. They can't even begin to tell you what they spend it on. They don't even remember. It's so unremarkable how people waste money, and we're all guilty of it. And, you know, there's a great book I read years and years ago called The Richest Man in Babylon. And it was a really great story about how to make your money grow. And they used a lot of different analogies from earlier times with the with different civil societies, and how a man in a town became wealthy and all the other men admired him. And you learn about wealth from talking to successful people who are wealthy, and you ask them, how do you grow your money? And in this book, it says, let your money is like your babies, and your babies are having babies. So your money is having babies. It's growing and expanding. No. Just check. So that was a great story, a great lesson, and maybe we'll put that on your channel one day, because I think I have a copy of it somewhere. Chapter 10. And another thing about budgets is you have to know what the going rate of things are in today's society, and then you have to learn to live on 1/4 of your total income. Like, you should always have 75%, 50 to 75% that you can put away for emergencies. So there's ways to do budgets where you actually let your money expand while you still are living on it. So that comes when you're older. But yeah, and it's always a work in progress. You know, people like me and Daddy, we always have to remember, oh, do we really need this? Do we really need that? Do we really want to go here? You know, you always have to think about how you spend the money. Operating appliances. I know. I see your eyes rolling. You're thinking, but I don't need to know that stuff. My parents take care of it. You might be right for now, but most of this book is about equipping you for the future, and will definitely need this information when you live independently. So pay attention, Dylan. We live in an increasingly complex world, and things are getting easier. So settle down and keep reading. Knowing how to operate basic home appliances, Dylan, is a key skill you need even if you don't use it often. Every skill you acquire will definitely be used at least a few times in the course of your life. Trust me once again. I know this because my brother once got a summer job simply because he knew how to put a tabletop appliance back together in a pinch. First, it was my dad's Grundig Satellite 650 radio, then my mom's new microwave door that wouldn't close just right anymore. One morning we woke up and the fridge door fell apart when I did nothing more than look at it. I think my dad secretly enjoyed fixing things with my brother in tow and forcing him to learn too. In college, my brother was at a diner with some friends when the food processor exploded. The smoke and the noise spooked the customers and some of the staff. My brother swung over the counter like he worked there and fixed it for them. The manager immediately offered him a summer job that he kept until he graduated. Who says fix-it skills don't come in handy? For the rest of this chapter, we will look at the common kitchen appliances you should know how to use. That is, if you tend to get hungry on a regular basis. How to use a washing machine. Knowing how to wash your clothes at home is important. Trust me, while it may look like dumping your clothes in the machine and pressing a few buttons, it's a little more complicated than that. You need to know the following so your clothes come out clean and undamaged. Type of material. Some clothes need a gentle wash as opposed to a vigorous agitation and spinning. Knowing that is important, and some machines have options for different kinds of fabric. All you have to do is follow the label instructions. Temperature. Learn the right temperature for each type of fabric, knits, permanent press, etc. You don't want your clothes shrinking or stretching in the wash. Detergent. Adding the right type of detergent might seem trivial, and you might be tempted to just pour in any old soap and start tumbling, but this could ruin your clothes. Consult the fabric labels on each item or on the internet for the correct amount of detergent and water temperature to use before you start. Type of machine. Using a top loader is a little easier than a front loader, and using each properly will prolong the life of your machine as well as your clothes. How to operate a dishwasher. This used to be my least favorite chore. My dad had a rule: whoever helped make the meal didn't have to do the dishes, and whoever finished eating last got stuck loading the dishwasher. A big believer in self-sufficiency, my dad was never very quick to offer help when we worked on something difficult. He wanted us to try fixing things first, making our own mistakes before he offered his help. So, when I learned to use the dishwasher, I spent a whole day reading the instruction manual from the manufacturer's site on the internet before I got a clean load. I was so proud of myself. To start out, different dishwashers have different settings, and if you can read and follow instructions, you might be able to wing it on first try. If not, a YouTube video will come in handy. Here are a few other helpful tips for any kind of dishwasher. Before loading the washer, scrape and rinse the dirty plates in the sink and remove pieces of food. This will keep your drain open. Cleaning the drain is a lot messier than doing the dishes, I assure you. Place the dirty plates in the plate slots and don't block the water sprayers, which is guaranteed to result in dirty dishes. After the dirty plates are loaded, close and lock the door and choose the washing and/or drying method of your choice. Which options you choose, heated, dry, cycle, or extra hot wash, will depend on what you've loaded into the machine, dishes versus pots and pans, and how dirty they are. Do not interrupt the machine during the cycle. A typical washing cycle lasts about an hour. Operating a stove and microwave. This is kind of your thing because you help me cook. Eating is a survival skill and a life skill. Learning to use the most common cooking appliances always comes in handy no matter what. Are you listening?
Yes.
Okay. No matter what you do in the future, the first thing to learn about cooking appliances is safety first. Always use extreme caution around heat and fire so you don't burn yourself or your food. Microwaves are used to cook, bake, defrost, and heat your food. And what do you always tell me about the microwave.
Don't stand in front of it.
Yeah, too much radiation. There are simple, straightforward ways to use a microwave and get efficient results. Always familiarize yourself with the manual that comes with your microwave. This goes a long way towards cooking food successfully the way you want it without running into problems. Put the food in a microwave-safe container. That means no metal and nothing that could melt, like some plastics. It's extremely dangerous to put any type of metal, including aluminum foil, in the microwave. This causes sparking and possible fire. Use a dish, paper towel, or wax paper to cover the food you're going to cook in the microwave, especially if it's something like sauce or soup that could splatter. And especially, Dylan,
Hot chocolate.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti, yes.
Splatters make a big mess. Set the timer for the duration. Okay, if you wish to stop or pause, use buttons on the machine or just open the door. Using the stove is easy as long as you follow the instructions. I don't know. I don't do manuals. I just kind of figure it out hands-on. The burners on your stove may be gas, electric, or flat top glass. Keep away flammable materials. Roll your sleeves up, and if you have long hair, tie it back securely. If your home has a gas stove, ask adults for help to turn it on and show you how to use it. But you're pretty good with the burners, but you never do them without me. If you have an electric stove, it will be easier to learn how to use it. You'll understand how the knobs work and what the different settings mean. This prevents you from burning food or risking a fire. Turn off the stove after every use. Do not leave it on when engaging in other activities, and do not use it to warm the house when it's cold outside. That's a serious fire risk. And don't leave it on, Dylan, when you run errands or anything. You always shut the ovens off. Okay, using the vacuum cleaner. Vacuum cleaners are household appliances that lift dirt, dust, and small items off floors, furniture, and draperies. Vacuum cleaners are typically upright or canister style. Some vacuums have bags inside the housing that catch and trap dirt pulled up. If your vacuum cleaner has a disposable bag rather than a reusable canister, you may need adult assistance when changing the bag. Some vacuums are bagless, which saves money from buying bags. Bagless vacuums empty the dirt into the reusable container that is later emptied into your trash. Machines of all types with full bags or canisters don't clean as well as empty ones. Most models adjust for floor height, where hardwood or vinyl flooring is the lowest setting. And boy, oh boy, did we go through vacuums. And carpet settings vary based on the length of the pile. Remove small objects that might get pulled into the suction path. Yeah, Dylan, like your little toys, right? Objects,
Me?
yes, you chewed up my last vacuum.
I didn't. That was Daddy.
Objects like toys, clothes, shoelaces, small tacks, or paper clips should be picked up in advance so they don't get pulled into the vacuum cleaner, where they can damage or jam the appliance, causing costly repairs. Turn the vacuum on, typically by hand or foot. Okay. Push it back and forth over the area you're cleaning until you cover the whole area. And don't move too fast. Give the machine time to do its job. And if you move too fast, the suction will not pick up the dirt properly. Here's a dirty but true gross out vacuum factoid. Carpets can hold up to 10 times their weight in dust and dirt. Ew. For small areas where the vacuum doesn't fit, there's usually a caddy that carries accessories to clean in narrow spaces or small flat areas like stairs. There are also handheld vacuums that are handy for cleaning up messes like your breakfast cornflakes or even your cornflakes with milk. And you have a vacuum for Roseville too, to clean the small spaces. Okay, chapter 11, cooking. Learning to prepare meals for yourself and others is an essential skill. Okay, assuming you like to eat. Do you like to eat?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. I say you do. It's a lot of fun, especially when you can make your favorite meals from scratch. As a bonus, you won't have to wait for your guardians to come home before you eat homemade food. preparing the basics by yourself. It's helpful to know how to prepare basic foods. Even if you don't yet know how to cook a whole meal, contributing small dishes is a helpful and enjoyable way to start. Dylan, I am going to raise you to be a wonderful cook so that when you eventually have your own family, you can still contribute to cooking in your household. Because Daddy makes a mean bowl of cereal. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Daddy can make popcorn in the microwave. Follow him for more recipes. Just kidding. Okay. Last chapter, okay? You might be excited to try out things you've seen your parents do in the kitchen, but don't be tempted to try anything without proper guidance and instruction. Start with basic cooking equipment like pots and pans before trying specialized equipment like crepe makers and fancy pressure cookers. And that makes me feel like I want to make some crepes soon. Want to do crepes one night? Okay. Wash your hands with soap and water before you touch any food items or utensils for meal prep. Keep all the food surfaces clean and sanitized. This prevents the spread of germs, keeps your food safe. Good kitchen hygiene is one of the most important habits to maintain. When you're by yourself, only cook food you know how to prepare. Don't try complex cooking techniques or brand new recipes without an adult's permission. When starting out, try cooking easy foods like scrambled eggs or French toast. Those are foods easy to prepare and satisfying to eat. There are excellent cookbooks available for beginning cooks, and the internet is also a great place to find recipes for the young cook in the family. And you have a lot of great cookbooks, Dylan. Mm-hmm. And we have a lot of great family recipes. Using kitchen utensils safely, which we already know, we don't have to read all of this, but sharp instruments. The one thing I always tell you about sharp instruments is don't use big knives or anything without mommy being there. I've allowed you to use a small paring knife, but I don't let you use the big knives. You know,
Reminds me, one time you taught me how to use the big knife. There was pink pineapple.
Yeah.
Get some again.
But I helped you the whole time because you could literally lose a finger.
What I'm trying to say is, I want to get pink pineapple.
Cooking safe. Yeah. You want to do another pink pineapple session?
Yeah.
Oh, and always clean up after yourself. That's another big one. The cook, you know what my aunt used to say? She was a very excellent, famous cook. But she said, always, she wasn't famous, but she cooked for someone famous. But she always said, a good cook cleans up the mess along the way so that when you're done and the food is ready to be presented, you don't have a gigantic mess in the kitchen. So you multitask. When something is cooking, you're cleaning a dish or putting something away. Chapter 12, dressing yourself. Oh my goodness, some of this stuff we don't need to go through. Dressing for the weather, mix and match your wardrobe. I'm just going to go through it quickly.
Should we just...
Dressing for the occasion. Yes. Like the way you dress for church is important. The way you dress for school is important. Closed-toed shoes are important. Formal settings. Like you wouldn't go to the beach the same way you go to a wedding, right? Like a lot of schools don't let students wear hats, sunglasses, or flip-flops. You wear a hat to school, but you hang it up on your hook till recess time. Clothing like jeans, shirts, sweatshirts are great for school outfits because you get dirty a lot. You get a lot of germs there. Navigation skills, chapter 13. I think we actually already read up to this point because I see an old puppy ear. I feel like we're rereading a lot of this. Reading a map, which you're oh so good at, Dylan. You're actually creating your own map right now for Wellsville. North, south, east, and west orientation. Legend, which tells you the symbols for the map. A lot of maps are very digital now anyway, though. Reading a compass. with the magnetic needle. It always points north and rotates freely. When you hold the compass in your hand, it tells you the direction you're facing. Planet Earth is a powerful magnet, and a compass is magnetic. A magnet has two poles, which are the primary centers of force, one at each end. Because the poles are connected by magnetic force lines, and because it aligns with the magnetic force lines of Earth, the compass needle always points north. Asking for directions, that's one that Daddy never does. No, I'm just kidding. You know what we used to do back in the day, Dylan? Before we had these fancy digital GPS things, we used to have a good old-fashioned Thomas guide, which is a big fat book, like a phone book, and you used to have to search the city or the town that was your destination, and then you would flip to that page and you would have to like map out your own route. So you'd say, okay, I live here, I'm trying to go this way, I need to get on Route 10, Interstate Freeway 10, and I need to go eastbound. And then you look, and then the map would have all the little streets, and you'd say, okay, I'm going to exit on whatever street, Grand Avenue, and then I'm going to go left or right to get up to where and I used to have to do that when I worked with the medical examiner's office. We didn't have the GPS thing. I used to take my old Thomas book and put it in the van, the transport van, when I first started out doing field work, and I'd have to be like, oh, I have a field call, let me figure out how to get to the field call. Crazy, huh? Okay, I think we already read all this. Chapter 14, study and research skills. As a student, you know that studying is a regular part of school life, but you're already a researcher because you do that for your content. You study to understand what is taught in class, unfamiliar concepts, and to pass tests. Studying takes what you learn in school and commits it to memory. So improving study skills advances you to a higher level of learning, especially when you pay attention in class and listen attentively. Avoid distractions when you study. Listen to the teacher and don't distract others. Plan to read ahead for tests and quizzes. You know, I used to do that. The teacher would say, read chapter 2, and then sometimes I would turn into chapter 3 and just read ahead, just for myself, just to get myself prepared, you know. That's a good habit. Always kind of go a little bit ahead, not too far ahead, just a little bit. If a test is announced on Monday to be taken Friday, do not start studying Friday at lunch. No way. That's waiting till the 11th hour. Break it down in steps and study in manageable sessions from Monday to Thursday. Then on Friday, you'll be well prepared to ace the test. And that's what we used to do with your old spelling tests. We'd take 10 brand new words, and you'd say, I'll never figure this out by Friday. And by Wednesday, you were a pro. Remember? We used to just break it down. Lay out a plan for schoolwork and real-life projects. Study time at home provides more relaxed opportunity to learn outside of the classroom. Ask for help and get a good night's sleep. Learn to chunk. Chunking is a learning method used to simplify large pieces of information. It eliminates the fear of having to remember everything in your textbooks. Teachers use chunking to help students understand better by breaking down large topics for easier understanding and retention. Look at those little feet. Aww. The key to chunking is mastering the art of finding patterns. The various forms of chunking are all fun ways of creating patterns. There are several ways to chunk. The first is acronyms. So, you know, like when I was learning, what was the acronym, John? With when I was learning bass, and they would say EADG, and then there was the extra string for the guitar, but it was every
Other boy.
Deserves good something. I don't know. It was an acronym. I can't remember it now because it's been so long since I had a base lesson. But the teacher was teaching me the acronym for the strings.
South Pasadena, it's 62 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies. Tonight's forecast has mostly clear skies with a low of 53 degrees.
Well, there's the weather if you want it tomorrow.
So, another great acronym that my dad used to always say growing up, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Because if you make it easier in life, life is just a lot more manageable. So, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay, and then of course, so acronyms. And then second method is acrostics, which use the first letter of a set of words to make an easy to remember phrase. So the following acrostic poem is about summertime. So they're going to spell out summertime, Dylan, but they're going to use the words in different ways, or the letters, I should say. Sunshine, warming my toes. Underwater fun with my friends. Making homemade ice cream on the porch. Many long nights catching fireflies. Early morning walks to the creek and reveling in the freedom of lazy days. Now that whole little poem spells summer. It's acrostic. Generally, acronyms are better to use than acrostics because the latter needs to be decoded from the newly formed words to get the original meaning. It's just a lot more to remember when you have to do it that way. Okay, third method groups similar concepts together. If there are items with associated links you need to remember, group them. They don't need to be the same spelling or pronunciation or meaning. For example, pen and paper, book and pen, keyboard and mouse, bulb and switch. Chunking works effectively by practicing what has already been learned, and repetition is key. Okay, taking notes. Oh, Dylan, you're so good at taking notes. I don't even think I really need to read that one because you take notes when we're in our legislative meetings. Create your own study space. Look around the house for spare table and chair. Always have good lighting and get rid of all screens. You have a great little office space though. Divide your time among subjects. Accessing the internet for information is a fine idea to broaden your knowledge. And you also have your good reference books at the top of your bookshelf, which is nice. Banishing negative thinking. Oh, this is important, Dylan. If you're not following what you're studying, it's easy to start feeling lost or confused, which can lead to a down in the dumps attitude. Let's face it, some subjects are more difficult than others, and the tough ones sometimes feel like weight sitting on your shoulder. If it starts getting you down, remind yourself that there are great help options to assist you. One is talking to the teacher. That's her job. And remember, your teacher went into teaching because they like to teach, so don't forget that. It's their job. You might also consider after-school session to clear up what you're having trouble with. But I usually work with you, Dylan, don't I? We have a good system, I think. Negative thinking is bad no matter how you look at it. So look for solutions and get past the bump in the road. Once that happens, you'll have a fresh perspective on learning that will give you fresh confidence. Remember what I always say, PMA, positive mental attitude. And when you find yourself saying, oh, I should have got that answer, I'm so stupid, you say, oh, no, I don't say I'm stupid. I will remember that next time. And that's how you redirect your thinking. Chapter 15, Dylan. This is the last chapter, self-entertainment. Using technology to learn, play, and entertain. Self-entertainment plays a vital role in helping young people develop creative skills. It makes you more self-aware of the activity and you're accountable only to yourself. This boosts self-confidence. You use technology in a lot of great ways, Dylan. I mean, look at you. You're already a podcaster. And you have all your great ideas. Problem-solving skills can be developed using technology. I don't do video games. We don't do video games, though. Creating STEM challenges. STEM is an acronym for science, technology, engineering, and math. It's crucial today that children are equipped with the knowledge and abilities to solve problems. This encourages problem solving, communication, and teamwork with others. Creating your own challenges can be a lot of fun, and also provides planning, building, executing, and analytical skills. Okay, a project to try at home is making a balloon parachute, Dylan. You will need a balloon, string, and a small basket or lightweight object to attach to it. It's fulfilling to watch your creation float into the sky and carried away by the wind. Using paper cups at home, you can build a tower by simply placing cups diagonally on each other to create spaces between them. Oh, I was wrong. There is another chapter, but let me see. Yeah, this is it. Chapter 16, What to Do About Bullies, Dylan. Bullying is an act of aggression and intimidation carried out by a person or group of people towards an individual or individuals. It occurs when others think the victim can't or won't defend themselves, or won't report it to authorities who can make it stop. Bullying happens verbally, online, or by physical force. Verbal bullying is offensive, hurtful language. Cyberbullying are threats of intimidation virtually, and physical bullying is any type of physical aggression applied to the victim in the form of intimidation without the victim's consent. We have dealt with bullying, haven't we, Dylan? It's not fun. What can you control when things are out of control? Well, we already talked about it. You can't control other people, but you can control how you react and how you move forward and set up boundaries, right, Dylan? And who to talk to when being bullied. We already went over our game plan. A trusted adult, somebody in charge, a teacher, someone in authority. What to do when someone you know is being bullied. Speaking up is difficult, but remind your friend there are punishments for bullies. Yeah, we do a lot of role-playing and mock ideas so that you have ideas of how to respond. Do not engage in bullying. It never supports, and never support those who do by saying nothing or standing to watch. Do not keep quiet and ignore a victim of bullying when you can help. Be a good friend whenever you can. In summary, life isn't always easy for kids and preteens, or tweens as we call them, as they face the challenging transition from childhood to the teenage years. It's tempting to assume that young people will pick up everything they need to know to survive and thrive, but that's not guaranteed. Life Skills for Kids is a go-to guide to help young people learn essential skills needed to become responsible young adults. This book covers handling emotions, communication, and getting along with others. There are also how-to chapters about studying, writing a school paper, doing chores, dressing for any occasion, and basic cooking, so a kid doesn't go hungry after school. This book was written to help young people transition smoothly to the next phase of life while providing fun activities to learn, as well as encouraging good study habits and responsible financial practices. They will learn how to interact responsibly with others in society and build excellent communication skills that will remain with them for life. Bon voyage. The